We're back with Open Innovation Week. Thanks to everyone who is watching us live. Remember, you can write your questions to our panelists in the YouTube chat during the presentations so they can answer them at the end of the presentation. Now I want to invite from Hospital Santa Cruz, Mr. Luiz Kimura, Director of Research and Technological Innovations, Mr. Renato Hassegawa, Technical Director, and Mr. Maurício Miyasaki, Projects Coordinator. Welcome, Luiz, Renato, and Maurício. Thank you for your presence.
Thank you, Marco. My name is Luiz Kimura, and I will talk about research and education at Santa Cruz Hospital. I think I would share my presentation. One moment, please. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Rebecca. And I is proud to be part of this meeting. Santa Cruz Hospital is an institute with 81 years old and provide health and medical assistance to Cape to people in São Paulo, Brazil. We concerned about how can enhance the knowledge of our staff and give a better assistance to this population. How can do this? The answer is we have to improve education and scientific research of our health workers. In 2017, during a scientific meeting among Santa Cruz Hospital, São Paulo University, School of Medicine, and Cruz University, with the presence of Professor Nagata. Here we have the Dr. Ishikawa, our CEO, and Professor Miyasaki. And on this occasion, our board of directors thinking about the creation of an institution that will provide those conditions to do this. I want to introduce you. Santa Cruz Research and Education is in Portuguese IPES, created by our board of directors, provides scientific research and educational actions. And the first step of this institution, our institution, is got the approval in Brazilian aids of in research in EPI and educational staff by the Ministry of Education. We also want to develop a network with Brazilian institutions, nationwide institutions like São Paulo University, like Fundação Oswaldo Cruz, huge institutions of health assistance in Brazil. And also with partner hospitals like Sabará Children's Hospital and Sírio-Libanês Hospital, big institutions in our city. We also want to work with another Brazilian K hospital. We have a lot of Brazilian Nikkei hospitals, like Hospital Nico Brasileiro, Hospital Nova Tibaia, Hospital Sugizawa, Paraná Hospital, Hospital Amazônia in the north of country in the Lake do Pará, and also SBC Hospital. In the, in the international scenario, IPESC will house an office of Tsukuba University, representing the mindset of education, culture, sports, science, and technology of Japan. This partnership aims to facilitate and stimulate the relationship between the institution and its Japanese counterpart. One example of research study is just nowadays developed skill of use of favipiravir in mild patients with SARS-CoV-2, supported by JICA, and it is a multi-center study leadership of our institution, and with partnership of Nikkei hospitals and Fundação Oswaldo Cruz, that's a huge institution, health institution, Federal University, and the Institute of Administrators, that's a big institute in the north of France. Also in international network, we can tell you about the Sakura Science Plan. We take part with this planning, this program, and it is supported by the Japan Science and Technological Agency, and we take part of this. Took part of this. And finally, I would summarize the main goals of our institution. That is many activities in graduation and fellowship and medical residence, increase the education of health workers, improvement in the filter may be developed post-graduation in our institute. Thank you for your attention. That's what can you demonstrate for you.
Thank you, Luiz. Maurício, Renato.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Would you see? Is that okay?
Yeah, we're seeing the other screen, the next slide and notes. We're not seeing the full screen.
Just a moment. Stop share. Esse aqui, não é? Primeiro foi você. Deixa eu ver. Okay. And now, is that okay?
No, we're seeing the same screen, but I think it's better if you not share the slides in full screen, just within the PowerPoint, you know, because we're seeing two slides, the current and the next.
Oh yeah.
So we can exit the presentation mode. I think it would be better. like this. Okay.
Like this? Okay.
Yeah, because it's bigger. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Kimura, well, so nice to meet you. Good morning. I am continuing the Kimura's presentation. Kimura told about our history and research and education area. Now, Hassegawa will introduce and talk about COVID impacts and challenges in our hospital, okay?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Renato Hassegawa. I am the medical director. I am in charge of Santa Cruz Hospital in São Paulo. I will talk about a little bit about our experience in facing COVID-19 in our hospital, and I will start with a brief story of my hospital. Santa Cruz Hospital was founded in 1939, endowments from Emperor of Japan and Mitsubishi Corporation, in order to provide healthcare to Japanese migrants and their families in their own language. Our hospital is equipped with to perform a full range of surgeries and diagnostic procedures. Liver, kidney, bone marrow transplants are performed in our hospital. We also have 13 surgery rooms, 2 CT scans, and 2 MRI, and we perform 14,000 surgeries per year. Brazil is a big country in many ways, and it has a population of 210 million people. Its territory is 22 times bigger than Japan. São Paulo is the most populous and the healthiest state in Brazil. It has almost 46 million people. São Paulo is the capital city of São Paulo state and the financial center of the country. Big territory and big population means problems in pandemic. Next. Japan GDP is 37% higher than Brazil's, and 34% of the Brazilian GDP comes from São Paulo state. However, the HDI in Japan is 17% higher than Brazil. But compared in the São Paulo city, we have a little closer, considering the difference of 12%. Next one. Just over 10% of all confirmed cases in the world were reported in Brazil, considering COVID-19. And approximately 12% of global deaths occurred in our country. Next one. The COVID-19 came from Europe to Brazil in early March in 2020, brought by Brazilian tourists returning from Italy throughout the country. Throughout the country, recovered patients totalized more than 5 million cases. More than 383,000 patients are in surveillance. 79.7 deaths in 100,000. New cases, 35,000 of new cases we found every day in our country. In an average instance of 100,000, 2,800 in 100,000. Next one, please. This graph shows the curve of deaths. The declining trend of deaths stopped in the last 2 weeks, and a spike of deaths was detected as we came in chart. Specialists are suspecting the second wave of pandemic, similarly to what happened to Europe. Early March, it became clear that mitigation measures were utterly necessary to keep the safe attendance. In order to accomplish this task, we created an emergency unit for flu-like cases with full segregation of attendance. We provided personal protection equipment for all healthcare professionals and administrative personnel. Next one, please. Strict protocols was created for COVID-19. Testing was provided for all inpatients. The ambulatory service center was adapted for emergency procedures only for COVID-19. Patients and the main surgery center became the COVID-19 free for elective surgeries. All patients positive for COVID-19 were isolated in single rooms. Next one. To assure a safe stay of Japanese travelers and citizens living in Brazil, it was provided a drive-through service to PCR testing and sanity certificates and counseling. Risk group personnel were preserved and relocated to home office or bureaucratic assignments. Next one. Attendances were provided for more than 8,000 patients suspected of COVID-19 in Santa Cruz Hospital. About 500 patients recovered in our hospital, with 65 deaths throughout the pandemic inside the hospital. COVID patients' mortality was 22% in our hospital. Next one. And seeing a downward trend in the number of suspects of COVID-19, it was observed a peak of 90 cases per day in emergency unit along the last 2 weeks. Our best hope in this pandemic relies on the vaccines. We have 3 vaccines in the phase 3 trial in our country. The Oxford Cruz, the federal government make investment of 1.9 billion reais to support this research. And state governments in São Paulo invested in 49 million doses ordered to Sinovac. And the Pfizer is conducting the final trial, the Pfizer 3 trial, of the advanced vaccine of RNA messenger. And in 2 days ago, we received the news that the federal government is dealing agreements to acquire 49 million doses for our country. And that's all I have to say about the pandemic. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, now we start with digitalization and innovation point of view of the hospital. Well, so what Santa Cruz did to leverage the challenges, COVID challenges, into opportunities. The first one was telemedicine. Sounds a little obvious, but it's very important to conduct our actions here, following the principal guides. I mean, it means maintain or keep relevance between doctor and patient relationship. Understand that telemedicine is an extension of follow-up and monitoring of simple clinical situations, prescriptions, cases of low complexity. And for sure, very important subject is the preservation of data privacy and patient records. So we react in a fast way using a telemedicine platform capable to to make appointments, having digital certificate, recording of sections, pictures, and simplified prescriptions. Okay, everything promoting benefits in security for the patients located far from here, including reduction of costs from the point of view of hospital and for the patient. Another action we performed is regarding to generate a collaborative network. We use a platform called Join, designed for second opinion. It means taking all pictures, images in a DICOM format in our PAC system, and promote and share this information among physicians and health professionals over here in a secure network, encrypted and anonymized information of the patients. It was very helpful over here. Some features this platform has are possibility to share DICOM information, chat among the physicians, video and audio conferences, and generate groups per cases, okay, and for treatment lines. So we have some visions about our future regarding to digital area. The first one is a digital check-in that will promote agility in the processes and reduction of patients waiting for assistance. For sure, taking care of security and data integrity and patient authentications. It starts with a scheduling process by mobile, for instance, or through portal or WhatsApp, whatever. And when the patient start the process of checking, he can provide personal registration. This process will generate a QR code. And at the moment patients arrives at the hospital, some technologies such as facial biometrics, OCR, totems, and RPAs, the robots, make the patient's life easier. And at the end, the payment options to let the patient payment process easier as well. Well, Hassegawa will talk about artificial intelligence for endoscopy.
Okay, I'll speak about our artificial intelligence endoscopy and endoscopies, and it's a great pleasure to present the KDI system. It's a proprietary system of Fujifilm Corporation. It brings the artificial intelligence and the learning machine concept to endoscopy. As you know, the lesions associated to cancer in upper GI system, it's a very huge concern because endoscopy till nowadays is hugely operator dependent. So there are it's highly variable in quality and accuracy. And the KDI system brings the learning machine and enormous data, about thousands and thousands of the examinations, and can provide the very accurate diagnosis of cancer. So, of course, the human, the endoscopy is not dismissed of the endoscopy, but the artificial intelligence can bring um, um, more safety, more comfort for the endoscopist, and more value to this examination. So I think it's next January, it's early January of 2021, we'll have the system in our hospital to help the endoscopists in diagnosis and make more diagnosis of cancer in our hospital. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. As part of our vision as well is the first aid support and medical records in patient hands. It means having a platform, mobile, where basic life support and first aid guides is allowed. Platform that allows also emergency calls and how can I say, share the clinical records of patients, such as prescription, exam results, and so on. Okay. We also have a view about one key problem with patient faces. It starts with the question of the patient, why don't my health records move with me? And it starts a lot of things, such as value-based healthcare instead of fee-for-services model, the demand of continuity of care, proactive interaction with patients, the packages and sharing of operator risks. Bundles, yeah, the bundles. It means that it will start all interoperability process where every kind of company will be a technology company, okay? And the role of infrastructure and middleware will be very key and enabler for all these points. At the end, the patient is looking for digital experience, agility, connections, immediate reactions and feedbacks, and having the security of their data. It means we need to have a layer of infrastructure to support this massive computing power and the interoperability of data. Above this enablement layer, we have the layer of intelligence, where works machine learning, artificial intelligence, big data analytics, promoting better cancer diagnosis, endoscopy diagnosis, as Hassegawa told, and other disease detections using the intelligence. At the end, we have the layer of engagement where the patient will interact, will use, and all the services provided by hospital and other suppliers, starting with scheduling, health monitoring, and so on. We cannot forget about the data privacy and security in the bottom. At the end, we will have a world connected, machines and human connected, starting with a micro-tier vision, where the patients are already connected with equipment, sensors. Those informations can navigate through the second layer, the mesotier, which means interface among systems inside the hospital, a lot of systems and equipment inside hospital, and up to reach a macro tier environment, where the hospital interconnected with another clinics, another health system data, another countries, and everything is connected in an interoperability model. centered in the patient, with moving of EHR, no friction in consumer experience, and data backbone and advanced analytics. This is the word we foresee. Okay, I think this is what we are talking about, Marco.